Let me tell you something most people never stop to realize: the words you speak to yourself are either building your future or burying your potential. Not the words you say out loud in front of other people, not the words you post online. I'm talking about those quiet, hidden, invisible conversations you're having in your own head every single day. And some of why all have been speaking defeat over your lives for so long you don't even notice it anymore. It's automatic. But what if I told you that your internal dialogue is the very thing scripting your life? That voice in your head, it's not just reacting to your reality, it's creating it. Your self-talk is the foundation of your mindset, and your mindset, that's the steering wheel of your life. Think about it. If every time you hit a wall, your first thought is, here we go again, I always mess this up, what are you really doing? You're not just stating a fact, you're issuing a command to your brain, you're reinforcing failure. You're installing that pattern deeper. So next time, guess what? You're already programmed to lose before you even try. Because your brain is designed to obey your voice, not your potential, not your talent, not your goals, your voice. You ever notice how two people can face the same problem, but one person crumbles and the other rises? It's not that one has more talent. It's not always about resources. It's how they talk to themselves about what's happening. One person says, this always happens to me, I can't win. And the other says, okay, this is tough, but I've handled tough before. I'll figure this out. That difference right there, that's the game changer. That's the pivot point where breakthrough begins. And here's the crazy part: you don't have to believe the words at first. You just have to say them. You might feel like a fraud saying, I'm confident, I'm focused, I'm built for this, when everything inside you feels anxious, scattered, and unprepared. That's okay, say it anyway. Because your words aren't describing your situation, they're prescribing your direction. They're giving your mind and your spirit instructions on where to go. See, your brain is always listening to the words you say, especially the ones you say to you. When you speak, your subconscious takes notes. It doesn't know the difference between truth and sarcasm. You say, I'm so stupid, it writes it down. You say, I always ruin things, it writes it down. And then it goes to work proving you right. That's how powerful your words are. So for just 3 days, I want you to flip the script. I want you to treat your words like they're life or death, because they are. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative, stop, interrupt it, rewire it. Instead of I can't do this, say this is stretching me, but I'm growing. Instead of I'm such a mess, say I'm learning. I'm becoming stronger through this. And no, it won't feel natural right away. That's because your current self-talk is a habit, of mental muscle you've been working out unconsciously for years. So when you change the words, it's like using new muscles. It's going to feel awkward. That's fine. Keep going anyway. Speak power until your voice gets strong enough to drown out the doubt. Speak vision until your future starts to recognize you. Speak truth until your life aligns with it. Now let me make this plain. This isn't some cute, fluffy affirmation game. This is spiritual warfare. Because if the enemy can't steal your future, he'll try to steal your words. Why? Because your words are the blueprint of your faith. You can't build what you won't declare. You can't walk in what you won't claim. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, not just for other people, for you. So for 3 days, just 3 days, talk to yourself like the future you want is already on its way. Speak with intention. Speak with authority. Speak like your words have weight, because they do. Now don't just talk about your problems, talk to your purpose. Remind yourself who you are, whose you are, and where you're going. And do it like you believe it. Because the truth is, the world won't believe in you until you do. But let me know if you want the next key point expanded or a full speech stitched together from all 6. Absolutely, here's the expanded 750-word segment for key point 2, written in a seamless conversational style with that same powerful energy and impact as if it's being delivered live. Now, let me tell you about the most dangerous voice in your life, and no, it's not from somebody out there. It's that little voice in here, that inner critic, that silent assassin that's been talking you out of your greatness. That voice that shows up when you're about to do something new, bold, uncomfortable, or meaningful. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that says, who do you think you are? That says you're not good enough for that. That says it's too late now. You missed your chance. And what's crazy? Most people don't even realize it's there, they just accept it as truth. But let me break it down. Just because a thought feels familiar doesn't mean it's true. Some of why all have been rehearsing lies in your mind for so long they sound like facts. That inner critic, it doesn't care about your potential. It just wants you to stay comfortable. Stay small, stay safe. But safe doesn't build legacy. Small doesn't build impact. Comfortable doesn't create greatness. So if you're going to rise, if you're going to walk into who you're really called to be, you're going to have to interrupt that voice. The inner critic doesn't yell. It whispers. It slides into your mind real slick. You'll be standing in front of an opportunity and it'll whisper, you're going to mess this up. You'll be healing from something and it'll say, this is just temporary. You'll fall back again. But for the next 3 days, I want you to be on high alert. I want you to catch those thoughts when they show up. Don't let them slide by unchecked. Interrupt them. Replace them. Speak back with power. See, most people think thoughts are facts, but thoughts are just suggestions. Your mind throws out suggestions all day long, but you decide what gets to stay. So when the thought shows up that says, I can't do this, I want you to pause and ask, says who? Who told you that? Where did that come from? Is that your voice, or is that the voice of fear, of insecurity, of something someone said to you 15 years ago that you never challenged? Let me show you how to flip it. When that thought says, I'm not smart enough for this, stop and say, I may not know everything, but I'm willing to learn, and that makes me unstoppable. When it says, I always fail, flip it to, I've learned from every setback. That makes me wiser and more prepared than I've ever been. The point isn't to lie to yourself, it's to lead yourself. You've got to learn to lead your thoughts, not follow them. Because if you follow your thoughts without checking them, you'll always stay in the same place. The enemy doesn't have to destroy you, he just has to distract you long enough to let you destroy yourself. And most of the time, the destruction starts in the mind. The wrong voice on repeat becomes your reality. But here's the truth, you're not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And when you observe something, you have power over it. You can challenge it. You can shift it. You can choose differently. And let me tell you something, when you start talking back to that inner critic, it gets quiet. It doesn't know what to do when you fight back. Most people have been agreeing with that voice for so long, it's never had any resistance. But you're not here to agree with fear anymore. You're not here to agree with doubt. You're not here to live a life dictated by insecurity. You're here to rise. You're here to shift. You're here to grow into the next level of you. So for 3 days, I want you to commit to this. Every time a thought comes up that tries to shrink you, stop it. Out loud if you have to. Replace it immediately with a thought that expands you. You don't even have to fully believe it yet, just say it. Why? Because your subconscious mind doesn't argue. It accepts what you say repeatedly. If you say, I'm a failure often enough, it'll build your life around that belief. But if you start saying, I'm built for more, guess what? Your actions start lining up. Your focus starts shifting. Your energy starts rising. And before you know it, you've created a new mental atmosphere, one where your potential can finally breathe. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being intentional. It's about not letting the most powerful voice in your life, your own, work against you anymore. Because you can't conquer anything out there until you learn how to conquer what's in here. Absolutely, here's the 750-word segment, expanding key point 3, keeping the momentum and tone consistent with the previous sections. Let me ask you a simple question, and I want you to be real with yourself for a second. Would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself? Would you speak to your child, your spouse, your little brother or sister the way you speak to you when nobody's listening? Most people wouldn't dare. Most people would never look someone they love in the face and say, you're not good enough, you're a failure, or you always mess everything up. But somehow they say it to themselves every single day without flinching. And here's the part that should really make you pause. Your mind believes you. Your spirit believes you. Every word you say to yourself is shaping your identity, not just your mood, not just your confidence, your identity. You are programming yourself with the very language you use in the quiet moments when nobody's around to correct you. That's why it matters so much. So if you wouldn't talk to someone you love like that, why do you talk to you like that? And maybe that's the real issue. Maybe you haven't loved yourself the way you were meant to, because when you love something, you protect it, you speak life over it, you nurture it, you defend it. And when you start speaking to yourself like someone you love, really love, everything changes. Imagine you're coaching a child who's trying something for the first time. Let's say they're trying to ride a bike and they fall. Would you say, you're hopeless, you'll never get this? Of course not. You'd say, get back up, you're close, you've got this. That's how we talk to people we believe in. So why not give yourself the same grace? For the next 3 days, I want you to do something that might feel a little strange at first. I want you to parent yourself. I want you to mentor yourself. I want you to become the loudest, most supportive, most compassionate voice in your own life. When you mess up, don't beat yourself up. Speak the truth in love. Okay, I didn't handle that well, but I'm learning. I'm growing. I'll do better next time. See how that works? It's not ignoring the mistake. It's just not punishing yourself with it. Too many people think beating themselves up is the path to improvement. It's not. You don't grow from shame. You grow from support. You grow when you feel safe to try again, and nobody can give you that safety like you can. Some of y'all have had people in your life speak so much negativity over you that their voices became your own. Mm-hmm. You hear their words when you make a mistake. You hear their judgment when you try something new. But today is the day you take that voice back. Today is the day you decide that your voice is the dominant one. Not your past, not your pain, not their opinion, yours. And I know this might sound simple, but it's powerful. Say kind things to yourself. Not just when things are going great, but when you're struggling, especially when you're struggling. That's when it matters most. Look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you. I know you're not perfect, but I see your effort. I see your heart. I see you pushing forward when it's hard. That kind of self-talk doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. Because here's what I know. You will never outperform the way you see yourself. You can fake it for a little while, but eventually your identity catches up with you. So if you want to elevate your performance, your relationships, your results, you've got to start with how you speak to you. The words you say in the dark when no one's watching. That's what's creating your light. So when things get hard, and they will, don't turn on yourself. That's not your job. Your job is to stand with yourself. Your job is to be your own biggest advocate, your own cheerleader, your own source of fuel when the world goes quiet. Your job is to believe in the version of you that's still emerging. Speak to yourself like someone you believe in, like someone you're proud of, like someone who's going places. Because when you do that, you're not just building confidence, you're building trust. And when you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Because nobody wins long term by tearing themselves down. But everyone rises when they start talking to themselves like someone worth fighting for. All right, here's the 750-word segment for key point 4, continuing in the same powerful, flowing, and conversational tone, like it's being delivered from the stage with passion and intention. Now let's get practical, because it's one thing to say, talk to yourself better. It's another thing to actually do it consistently, intentionally, even when you don't feel like it. And the truth is, most people wait for their emotions to give them permission to speak powerfully. They wait to feel confident before they speak confidence. But that's backward. That's not how this works. You don't speak what you feel, you speak what you want to, you speak what you're stepping into. That's how transformation starts. So here's what I want you to do for the next 3 days. Use empowering phrases on purpose, out loud, every single day. Speak them like your life depends on it, because it does. We're talking about simple, powerful, intentional words that anchor your identity, that remind your soul who you are. Words that realign your thoughts with your purpose. Words that are rooted in truth, not feelings. Feelings change, truth stays. Start your mornings with power. Before you even grab your phone, before the chaos of the day tries to pull you in 10 directions, speak life. Say it with your chest. I'm focused. I'm capable. I'm favored. I walk in excellence today. You say that and your mind starts organizing itself around that declaration. Your energy shifts, your posture shifts. You stop approaching the day as a victim and start walking in as the CEO of your own life. And don't stop there. Throughout the day, keep those phrases close. Repeat them under your breath before a meeting. Say them in your car before you walk into work. Whisper them when your anxiety creeps in, when fear tries to rattle you, when doubt starts to sneak back in. I've got what it takes. I am not alone. I was built for this. What I need is already in me. These aren't just cute phrases, they're mental weapons. If you use them right, they'll change how you move. See, you've got to understand something. Words don't just describe your world, they design it. You're not just reacting to life, you're shaping it brick by brick, phrase by phrase. You're either building a prison with your words or building a palace. It's your choice. And too many people are living in self-made mental cages, not because of what life did to them, but because of what they keep saying about themselves. Some of y'all have been accidentally reinforcing the wrong identity. You say, I'm always late, and wonder why your time management never gets better. You say, I'm bad with money, and wonder why wealth never sticks. You say, I can't lose weight, and wonder why your health keeps spiraling. That's not just casual language. That's instructional language. Your brain takes it literally. So if you want to change your life, change your default phrases. Let me help you get started. Instead of saying, I'm terrible with names, say, I'm getting better at remembering people. Instead of, I hate public speaking, say, I'm growing more comfortable with every opportunity to speak. Instead of, I'm not disciplined, say, I'm learning to show up for myself. You see the difference? It's not fake, it's faith. It's calling things not as they are, but as they can be. And here's the thing. Don't just think these words. Say them. out loud. Your voice has power. There's something about hearing it come from your own mouth that solidifies it in your spirit. You speak it and your body starts believing it. You speak it and your actions start catching up. You speak it and all of a sudden, you're not waiting on motivation. You're creating it. That's why I say, for just 3 days, speak power daily. Create a morning routine around it. Write your phrases down. Keep them on your lock screen. Stick them on your mirror. Build repetition, because repetition creates rhythm and rhythm becomes reality. You've already been repeating the wrong things long enough. Now it's time to put something better on replay. This isn't hype. This isn't magic. This is alignment. When your words line up with your vision and your actions line up with your words, you become dangerous. You become focused. You become magnetic. Because you're no longer drifting, you're declaring. You're no longer reacting, you're initiating. You're no longer shrinking, you're stepping into who you've always been beneath the layers of fear and forgetfulness. You want results? You want peace? You want to start moving different? Then talk different. Talk like you've already won. Talk like you've already healed. Talk like the version of you you're becoming is already here, and let your life rise to meet it. Because when you speak with power, the world around you starts to listen. Absolutely, here's the 750 word expansion of key point 5, carrying the same momentum, tone, and impact as the rest of the speech. Now let's talk about repetition, because you can't just speak life one time and expect everything to shift. You can't say something once, feel good for 5 minutes, and then fall right back into the same old patterns. That's not how change works. Change is a product of consistency. Change happens when you decide, I'm going to show up for myself, whether I feel like it or not, whether I see the results or not, because I know the harvest is coming. See, the problem with most people is not that they don't speak life, it's that they don't do it long enough. They try it for a day, maybe 2, and then when nothing big happens, they say, well, I guess this doesn't work for me. But let me tell you something, you didn't get those old beliefs in a day. You've been rehearsing that fear, that doubt, that insecurity for years. So you're not just building something new, you're replacing something old. And replacement takes time. It takes repetition. It takes persistence. Think of it like this every time you speak life. Every time you declare who you are, who you're becoming, and where you're going, you're laying a brick. One phrase, one decision, one repetition at a time. And maybe the first few bricks don't look like much, but brick by brick, day by day, repetition by repetition, you're building a whole new mental environment. And eventually you look up and realize you've built a house strong enough to live in. A mindset you can trust. A life that reflects the truth you've been declaring all along. The key is staying in the process. Repetition doesn't always feel exciting. It can feel boring. It can feel routine. But that's where the transformation happens. That's where the shift takes root. The greatest breakthroughs don't come from big moments. They come from small decisions done consistently. And when you get that, when you really understand that your destiny is hiding inside your daily routine, you stop looking for shortcuts. The power of repetition is that it moves truth from your head to your heart. At first, you might just be saying the words. It feels mechanical, but keep going. Eventually, the words start to sink. They stop sounding like wishful thinking and start sounding like reality. They stop being affirmations and start becoming your identity. And when something becomes your identity, you don't have to force it anymore, it flows. This is why it's so important to schedule your words. Not just say them when you remember. Not just speak life when things are going well, but to be intentional. Speak power on purpose. Morning and night. Before the test. Before the meeting, before the workout, before the conversation. Create rituals around it, not because you're trying to impress anybody, but because you know how easy it is to forget who you are when life gets loud. And listen, you're going to have days where it doesn't feel like anything's changing. Days where the old voice tries to creep back in and tell you, see, you're still the same. You're still stuck. And that's when repetition becomes your weapon. That's when you lean on the habit, not your feelings. Feelings are temporary. Identity is permanent. And repetition is what bridges the gap between who you were and who you're becoming. Think about it like training. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be in shape. You don't lift one time and expect to be strong. No, you show up. You do the reps. You sweat. You push. You stay consistent, even on the days it's inconvenient. Because deep down, you know the investment is working, even if you don't see it yet. That's what repetition is, it's investment. Every time you speak truth over yourself, you are investing in the future version of you. And that future version, they're counting on you not to quit too early. The version of you you're becoming doesn't need perfection, they need consistency. They don't need you to be hyped every day, they just need you to show up. And when you do, something powerful happens. You become steady, you become grounded. You stop getting thrown around by every little mood or circumstance because your inner world is becoming unshakable. And the best part, the more you do it, the easier it gets. At first it takes effort, but soon it becomes normal. Soon, speaking power is just how you talk. Declaring truth is just how you think. And when that happens, you won't even recognize the person you used to be because your new default will be confidence. Your new normal will be peace. Your new baseline will be purpose. Because when repetition becomes your rhythm, transformation becomes inevitable. Here's the 750-word expansion of key point 6, wrapping the entire speech with strength, alignment, and that same consistent, motivating tone. Now, after you've started talking to yourself with power, after you've spoken to yourself with the love and belief you deserve, after you've used phrases that fuel your spirit, and repeated them until they start to feel natural, there's one more thing you absolutely must do. You've got to live like it's already true, not hope, not wish, not wait, but move like it's already done. Walk like you believe what you said. Act like what you declared is not just possible, it's inevitable. This is where most people stop short. They get fired up, they speak power for a day or two, maybe even a week, and then they stall. Why? Because deep down they were waiting to see the change before they became the change. But it doesn't work that way. You don't wait for proof, you become the proof. You don't wait for permission, you move like you already have it. If you've been saying, I'm disciplined, but your habits don't reflect it, now's the time to align. If you've been speaking, I'm a person of value, but shrinking back from opportunities, now's the time to show up like someone who believes they belong in the room. This is about walking in congruence, not perfection, but alignment. Your actions are the exclamation mark on your words. When you speak something and then live like it's true, you're reinforcing that belief deeper and deeper into your identity. But when you speak one thing and live another, your mind gets confused. And confusion is where insecurity grows. You don't want that. You want clarity. You want harmony between what you say and how you move. Because when those two things match, your confidence becomes unshakable. Now, let me be clear. Living like it's already true doesn't mean pretending or faking. It means you show up with intention. It means you stop asking, what if I fail, and start asking, what if I fly? It means that even if the results haven't shown up yet, you show up as if they have. You walk like the deal's already done. You prepare like the stage is already yours. You study like the opportunity is already on the calendar. You train like the race is already scheduled. That's not arrogance, that's alignment with your future. And yet, at first it's going to feel awkward. You'll have moments where your actions feel bigger than your reality. But that's okay, you're not moving based on where you are, you're moving based on where you're going. The person you're becoming isn't showing up tomorrow, they're already in you right now, waiting on you to act like they're real. And the people around you, they might not get it. They might say, who do you think you are? And you know what you say. You say, I'm someone who decided to believe what I say about myself. Because the moment you start living in agreement with your declarations, you become magnetic. You attract new energy, new conversations, new opportunities, not because anything magical happened, but because you changed. Your level changed. Your posture changed. Your energy changed. And when you walk different, people treat you different. When you carry yourself like someone who knows where they're going, the world starts clearing space for your arrival. But if you keep speaking power and then acting in fear, you're short-circuiting your own momentum. That's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it's growing. No, plant the seed, speak over it, water it with repetition, and then move like the harvest is coming. Because it is. You don't have to wait to feel ready. You just have to decide to start acting like it's already real. That's what faith looks like. It's not passive. It's active. It's walking with the weight of purpose, even when nobody else can see it yet. It's holding yourself to a standard your current situation hasn't caught up to. That's how leaders are made. That's how lives change. That's how cycles break. So for the next 3 days and beyond, I want you to do this. Speak with power. Speak with love. Speak truth. Repeat it. Reinforce it. But then live it. But don't just say you're a person of excellence, be one. Don't just declare abundance, manage your money like someone who has vision. Don't just say you're worthy, treat yourself like it. Don't just speak success, move like it's already written in your story. Because when your words and your actions line up, the universe takes notice, and the life you've been waiting on, it starts moving toward you faster than you ever imagined. Because the moment you start living like it's already true is the moment it starts to become your reality.